beginning, every individual has their own methodology for approaching the problem, but even then a designer or a group of designers develop a specific format which assists them in making their tasks much simpler, which is what I tried to break down with the above points. This method can then be worked upon in order to develop and improve for the best of purposes. Irrespective of the stages in the design process, there are certain factors which have to be dealt with before starting the work. Some of these may be identifying your target market, logo and branding, and maintaining an identity for the brand. All this has to remain more or less constant so that your business has a proper brand identity. Now, other things to keep in mind while starting the development process are research and analysis, and I'm sure you're super aware of this one, but proper research and planning is very important before starting any project, however big or small it may seem. Then there is concept. Adding to point 2 from above, the concept is the most important part of the design process. It is the focus from where the ideas are going to start, and the basic shape of the design would be conceptualized. The ideas might spring upon a designer at any moment of time. The important thing to keep in mind is that the idea or concept should gel with the market and your brand aesthetic. Any discordance at this stage might put question marks later on. This stage would also require the designer to work upon the mood board, theme board, color palette, trend, and the entire outline of the collection. And having a very focused concept will eliminate any issues further along the line. The next one would be mood boards, trend books, and lookbooks. Depending on what you are trying to display or how you're trying to display it, some of these could be extremely useful tools. For example, mood boards, as you are probably already aware, are fashion inspiration boards in a collage of images and objects that highlight a specific visual style in physical or digital mode to portray your concept for a particular collection. You can include things such as mood, colors, fabric, silhouettes, styles, etc. Depending on how thorough you want to be in having tools and a source of creative direction, I would highly suggest you complete your mood boards per delivery and or per capsule. They facilitate food for your social media, marketing, and other selling platforms. Now, a trend book is a step further. If you're dealing with a sales team or you are participating in various trade shows, then you might want to consider putting together some trend books. They are comprehensive forecasting instruments that target all facets of a trend in various fashion categories to give it a lifestyle story. You might include accessories or silhouettes that can be divided into several categories such as denim, wovens, knits, dresses, and such. You can also include textile, color, prints, footwear, and styling looks that pertain to that specific direction and theme, as well as a little blurb to talk about the mood that you're showing. For example, you may have a young, chic, boho look to your collection, but depending on your delivery and season, it might change in concept. One capsule for full summer delivery might be more of a tropical luxury glamping setting, and for transition, the next delivery, it might be more of a Moroccan desert adventure, right? Silhouettes can remain the same or similar, and your demographic and brand identity remains the same, but you would change prints, washes to denim, textures, colors, and so on. Go ahead and see my how to create a mood board video that shows examples of trend books as well. And then you've got lookbooks. They are photo showcases of your latest collection created for marketing efforts and to attract buyers. It can be used in your online shop to display the various looks of views of a style. The differences between a lookbook and a catalog is that a catalog is used more to sell the utility of the item, whereas a lookbook is used to sell the aesthetic or feeling of the item. The purpose of a lookbook is to convey a brand or designer's latest collection in a flattering, marketable light. It's another great tool to have during any fashion trade shows. You can include style numbers, prices, colors it comes in, and you can hand them out to potential buyers in a booklet sort of form or as a link they can go in and purchase. And now we come to the last bit of this segment. Manufacturers and vendors. It is important to do a lot of background check on manufacturers, especially on their minimums, or what we call MOQs, minimum order quantities. Sample charge. Yes, you need to make sure you can afford a sample with a particular factory. Be careful ordering a sample and then you get an exorbitant invoice. Then you have category. For example, if you're starting an activewear line, then you want to make sure it produces activewear and are familiar with that and the fabrics used. And also you'd like for them to align at least somewhat with your company's values. You can do it locally. For example, Google search US clothing manufacturer, which would be a lot easier to manage, but for sure it would be a lot more expensive. Otherwise, if you're interested in producing internationally, like in China, to bring down the cost, then you can do the same and Google search, or you can go to Alibaba.com where you can find many manufacturers and vendors of all types. It will be time consuming, confusing, irritating, because sometimes what they show on their website will not be the same as to what they produce. A lot of them just seem to share the same photos, so be careful and ask the questions you need to, including the few I mentioned at the beginning of this point. Also, never go with someone who asks you to put down money from the start. They should want to build a relationship with you because they want an ongoing business. So there is no reason to ask for money up front. Remember, samples are a lot more expensive than production, but you can negotiate with them if there is an order to absorb the cost of sampling into it, or reduce the price of sampling to start with. Then you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. I would have a few factory sampling for you to test out their capabilities. If there is ever a chance, going to a trade show also helps you meet factories from around the country and you can see the quality of their product. One such trade show is the Canton Fair in Guangzhou if you plan to manufacture out of China. Okay, so let's finish here. There will be a video on factories and vendors eventually. So for now, I would simply love to hear from you. If you have gone through this process already, please let our tribe know. That would be amazing. Do add it to the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share with friends that could benefit from this or any other of my videos. I would totally appreciate it. And feel free to ask me any questions down below. Thank you so much. See you soon. Take care.